Legend. Wait for it, Daryl.
Hey guys, it's me, Legend. Wait for it, Daryl. And today, that's right, I'm all dressed up, I'm all spiffed out. I got the Astromorpher. I got the cool patches made by BD15. Love you. He does them better than anyone else that I know. We are going to talk about one of my favorite Power Rangers series of all time. That's right, Power Rangers in Space, where we're going to cover all the facts, the most interesting facts I can discover about the show. That doesn't mean just all the good facts. It doesn't mean just all the bad facts. Although with this show, there's almost no bad facts. It's just the most interesting facts to me regarding Power Rangers in Space. So without further ado, let's just get all the pleasantries out of the way and talk about the top 10 interesting things you may not know about Power Rangers in Space. 10. Let's go simple but cool. And that is, of course, if you didn't know, this is the very first Power Rangers season in history to feature, of course, a battlizer. That's right. Going forward, after Andros would rock his battlizer in the episode Web Wars, a Red Ranger, or Rangers in general, would be given a special, unique, awesome battle armor power-up that would make them almost as powerful, typically, as the boss villain of that show. This would carry on into Lost Galaxy, Lightspeed Rescue, Wild Force, Time Force. Time Force had 2 battleizers for Red Rangers, by the way. Even when it went to Disney, they would still carry on the battleizer tradition. Ninja Storm, all the way up until Jungle Fury, they would have battleizers. And then they would bring battleizers back in the Nickelodeon area when they would have Power Rangers Samurai and introduce Shogun mode. Still, Andros, being as cool as he is with his telekinesis, would be the first Red Ranger in history to have a battleizer. And I wanted to mention that fact because Andros is awesome, and with those abs on that battleizer suit, can you blame me for being so mesmerized by his phenomenal look and how awesome he is in that battleizer? 9. Another fun and cool, spectacular, interesting fact when talking about Power Rangers in Space, let's bring up their Sentai counterparts, Mega Ranger. While Power Rangers in Space was, of course, based off of in space, going into other planets and galaxies, facing off against aliens, going off to Onyx, their Tatooine counterpart, Mega Ranger, the Sentai counterpart, wasn't space-based at all. In fact, their Sentai counterpart, Mega Ranger, last time I'll say it, I promise, took place in high school with a bunch of teenagers. Doesn't that sound familiar? But was based off of technology and video games. They were very different series altogether when comparing the American and the Japanese shows. And it doesn't even show. Power Rangers in Space was written so well as a season that you cannot tell the differences, which would be a rather interesting topic of discussion when you go back with the Car Ranger, when the motif matched it entirely, but the action adventure did not mix well with the comedy and parody aspects of those 2 shows. But yeah, Power Rangers in Space was based in space. Mega Ranger, all video games. 2 different things. Just wanted to mention it. 8. Another fun and stylish fact when coming into Power Rangers in Space is that it's the first season of its kind to feature full-fledged team uniforms. I mean, if you want to get particular, technically the Alien Rangers did have their own uniforms and coming to Earth. However, you do see that the civilians also wear the same attire and garb on Aquitar. These flight suits, however, were the first full-fledged Ranger costume uniform for the team to have. Before then, going Turbo all the way to Mighty Morphin, they wouldn't have team uniforms of any sort. They would just wear basically civilian clothes that featured their color of that particular Ranger. This, however, the team uniforms would go on to be irregular, going from Lightspeed Rescue with their jackets, Time Force with their time suits, Wild Force with the Wild Force vests, and Ninja. Yeah, I could go on for days about this. However, I wanted to mention and bring this up now because, yeah, I mean, look how good I look in this. This is awesome, and I'm glad that this would continue to be a thing going forward in the Power Rangers history.
7.
And guys, come on, it wouldn't be a Power Ranger video if I didn't mention Tommy Oliver at least once. And here's a funny and interesting fact about this season. It's the first one he's not featured on in any form or capacity. He doesn't even show up in a flashback. Yeah, that's cool, right? No Tommy Oliver at all. And this show was so good and engaging that you didn't even notice. This would be the first season to not feature Tommy Oliver, or, sadly enough, Alpha 5. While we would see a great deal of Zordon, because this would be Zordon's final season, Alpha 5 isn't featured at all. Alpha 5's final appearance was, in fact, in the previous season of Power Rangers Turbo, the episode Passing of the Torch. Alpha's fate isn't even mentioned going forward in the Power Rangers in Space. But yeah, this is an interesting fact because not a lot of people realize it until you point it out to them. This is the first season to not feature Tommy or Alpha 5 at all.
6.
And guys, while this season does have probably the coolest out of all the morphers that was ever introduced into Power Rangers history, because, I mean, look at this. What's not to love about this morpher? It's awesome, it talks and everything. This would be, of course, the final season to make full use of the communicator. That's right, we would never see the original Power Rangers communicator ever again until Forever Red, but it would not see any use in that episode for Power Rangers Wild Force. This would be the final season to utilize it in any shape, form, or fashion, and the majority of the space actors still have their prop communicators too. Tracy Cruz, who played Ashley, still has hers and flaunts it around anytime she can get, and that's why she's so cool and we love you. But yeah, this would be the final time we would see this, and it's a shame, but I did appreciate it for all of its splendor. It was a mainstay since Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Day 1. So yeah, farewell, the communicator. You were missed and appreciated well.
5.
Another interesting fact is one of the reasons how come I love talking about Power Rangers in Space is simply because of how ambitious and fun it was. It took the show into new directions in ways that none of us as children ever thought possible. And one of the more ambitious things it ever did was that Power Rangers in Space is the only Power Ranger series to date to cross over with another franchise entirely in show. And that is, of course, I am talking about the 4th episode in the season, Shell Shocked, when the Power Rangers would team up with none other than the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This was only a 1-episode crossover team up, and it was done to also help promote the other Saban produced show, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation, which also featured the first female turtle, Venus the Milo, who would be the sister of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Next Mutation only lasted 1 season though, but still Power Rangers did crossovers very well when it came to Masked Rider, and of course there was a Power Rangers Turbo comic which had them team up with Big Bad Beetleborgs. I wish there was some way I could talk about that more often, but nonetheless, that is a very big and ambitious deal, and I wanted to mention and bring it up because it's talked about all the time, but it's not mentioned that it's the only time a Power Rangers series has crossed over with another franchise entirely. However, it is owned by Hasbro now, so you never know. We may get Power Rangers versus the Transformers in a TV episode one day in the future. Who knows?
4.
Kind of a sad fact, and while I do talk about fun and ambition when going into Power Rangers in Space, this would unfortunately be the final season to feature bloopers and outtakes featured in the end credits of Power Rangers. They just stopped it for some reason. I always thought as a kid they were really funny and fun to see. They even made like in-episode bloopers and outtakes when going into the end credits. This wouldn't be repeated in Lost Galaxy or any other season going forward. Instead, they would just use instrumentals. It is not
fun, interesting fact. It's not a fun fact, but it is an interesting fact because I don't think we really appreciated what we had with those bloopers and outtakes until they were gone. So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to bring up.
3,
Also, did you know that this is the first season to have a blood relative? That is, of course, if you haven't seen Power Rangers in Space yet and you want to watch it, free on YouTube, by the way, just skip this fact right now, okay? Because it is a spoiler of a detail if you don't figure it out in the first couple episodes. So I'll give you like a 5-second head start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need to stop having this other hand up. I don't do anything with it. The interesting fact going into Power Rangers in Space is that this is the very first season to have a blood relative, Andros, being related to a villain character, which is of course Astronema, who would later be revealed to be Corone. And Corone / Astronema would have her own legacy to live up to, which we talk about fondly to this day. Still, it is the first Power Ranger series to ever do something like this, and it is a big deal. If I'm doing the math correctly, it wouldn't be until Power Rangers Mystic Force that this would continue into, in which it would be revealed that Lianbo was the father of Mystic Force Red Ranger. So yeah, Astronema, Andros, brother and sister, really cool.
2,
And of course, another fun and interesting tidbit when talking about Power Rangers in Space is, of course, that it has more returns of Rangers than any other season until Power Rangers Super Mega Forces Legendary Battle. Adam Park from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers would return using his Black Ranger powers. We would have Justin Stewart and the Phantom Ranger, both from Power Rangers Turbo, returning in separate episodes, however. We would have, of course, the Gold Ranger and the entire Alien Rangers team making appearances in the two-parter and final episodes of Power Rangers in Space, Countdown to Destruction, and the Blue Sartarian himself would make an appearance as well. This is a fun and interesting callback because it doesn't make Power Rangers universal to just one season before it or one season after it. In fact, it helped tie everything together and made the series feel more important and special. So yeah, more returning Rangers than any other season until the Legendary Battle.
1,
And last but not least, the most interesting fact when talking about Power Rangers in Space, and I know a lot of people kind of know about this, but for those of you who don't, Power Rangers in Space was actually intended on being the final Power Rangers season ever. It was going to wrap up 6 years worth of storylines, which it did, with the exception of the Phantom Ranger's identity being revealed. That was apparently even filmed. It never made it to the episode due to time constraints or whatever production reason it was. Power Rangers in Space, they went full-fledged out with it. It had the lowest budget of any Power Rangers season, but it didn't stop them. Instead, they used superior writing to keep the series going forward. What was unprecedented, however, was the huge ratings boost and the popularity of the series seemingly being revitalized once again for future Power Ranger series going forward, and thus it was decided that Lost Galaxy would come along and carry on Power Rangers, and Power Rangers with Fox, however, would go along all the way up until Wild Force until it would be bought by Disney. So yes, Power Rangers in Space was almost the perfect finale to Power Rangers in my opinion, but it's still going along to this day into its 30th anniversary, and that is the big and final interesting fact for me, that Power Rangers in Space almost finished with Countdown to Destruction. And there you have it, guys. If you can't tell, I am hot right now. And I'm not just meaning hot like I'm good looking good. I look good in anything, let's be real. I'm also very humble too. But no, this flight suit, everything about it is burning me up, and I'm filming this during the summer. However, this channel and you guys are always worth it, and that's why I put up with it. So there are the top interesting facts about Power Rangers in Space to me. Did you love Power Rangers in Space? Were there any interesting facts or trivia things that I missed or that you know about?
please comment below. Let me know. I love listening and talking to you guys, at least on YouTube when you're really nice to me. Please be nice to me, guys. I'm sensitive. More videos are coming. I'm not just gonna stop doing the top 10 interesting facts out of nowhere. I like doing these videos and I like making my time for you guys. More content on the channel is always coming. Feel free to like, share, and follow me on any of my social media platforms, which is Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Those are the most I'm usually always active on, and you guys are more than welcome to follow me on. I'm hoping you're having a super mega day. Please stay classy. Again, more content is always coming, and you guys just take care of yourselves, okay? Stay classy, and I'll see you around. Like, I can't stop looking at myself. I look good in this. I gotta bring this look back. Like, look at this. Who doesn't like in space, right? Okay, I'm done talking. Bye, guys. Let's rock it.